Hello there, welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a special video because I will be showcasing many of the medieval mods and default replacements that I have in my game when I'm using a medieval save file. But before we get into this is the custom world, the beautiful custom world Robinstein. I'll provide a link for that in the video description along with all of the mods and CC that I'm showcasing in this video. So don't worry if you wanted to check that out as well. I also have a world overview of this custom world on my channel if you click the link above if you wanted to check that out as well. But now let's get into this. And we are here in build mode. I will be showcasing things both in live mode and in build mode because there are different things I will be showcasing in this video. So first, let's get some of the objects. We have quite a few different stoves that I wanted to show. Now, one of them is actually a mod, and I wanted to show this off because it is so freaking cool. It is perfect for medieval gameplay. It is a fireplace that works as a functioning stove. I believe that part of it was made by a creator named Spherefish, and then there was some extra things added by another creator named Murphiel. So this here, you need two separate things. I'll provide a link because one of them is the mod, and then this is one of the objects that goes with the mod from the other creator. Now this here, you do not need the store object by EA. This is a mesh of the EA cauldron, but you do not need that, so don't worry if you don't have it. This is a completely separate object from that. This though, when you look at it here, I will show this. There are different swatches, and this is because you are going to use it to cook. And it has different versions with different stuff in the pot. If you are familiar with the version from EA, it has typically plain water in it because it's just a regular cauldron they do magic with. But this version, of course, is for cooking, so there's different meshes here with different types of food and stew that you will cook with it. Now, I don't know if these are all things that go with the mod. I believe the actual mod itself does have a couple of recipes for medieval gameplay, which is so freaking cool. I love medieval and just different recipes in general for The Sims, so that's so freaking awesome. And we have my sim here who will be showcasing these objects. We are in live mode now. She will be here to cook some of the stuff. Now it shows you here, you do need the recipes as well. And for these things, this is just so freaking cool because it's brand new recipes and it's so realistic for medieval gameplay. So if you want to play medieval gameplay, definitely grab this mod. It's so freaking cool. Of course, you have the things that come with from EA, which is mac and cheese, and you have canned soup, which I believe is actually something that you can make as a quick meal from the fridge, but you can make it with the pot. And you also have an option here with gruel. Now, as you see here, it shows that these are not available to cook. That is because you do need ingredients to cook these. So you need a vegetable to make the vegetable soup, of course a fish for fish soup, and you need steak for meat, and then for mac and cheese you will need cheese, macaroni, and milk. Now that's another thing with this mod. I believe you do need the ingredients overhaul. In those posts it will give you all of the information needed for that. I won't go into too much more detail. Just make sure to thoroughly read everything before you download stuff to make sure you're not missing anything. But let's have her cook some gruel. We'll have her get ready to cook something in the pot here. I'm super excited to show this. As you can see, it does have a bit of a similar, I guess, animation to the original cauldron, but it adds certain elements of medieval things with the bowl and stuff like that for medieval gameplay. How cool is that? I think that's so cool. Look at that. And she just stands there and eats it. So it's because she clicked, I made her have breakfast, but there's also leftovers. So the way that this works is there will be options for you to serve or have breakfast. If there are other leftovers in it, you can just go back into it and it will keep it kind of cooking since it's a cauldron, which is so cool. So you don't have to grab leftovers to put them away. You just come back here to eat them, or you can clean it to clean out the food that you have just made for your sim. And yeah, that is this cauldron mod. I will show there are a couple of other different object swatches that you can use for this mod as well that go with it. So you don't have to use this cauldron specifically. So we do have a couple of other options here. I just wanted to showcase them first. This is the same mod here, but it's just a different type of cauldron thing. It will work the same, it'll just look like a different object. But this one, of course, looks a bit more medieval as opposed to the EA one, and this one looks like a full-on stove. This, I believe, was converted from The Sims Medieval because it's the physician's one, when you have like the certain houses and the certain quests you have to do. I love the conversions from The Sims Medieval. I love that game too, by the way. I might try to go back and play it on my channel, but anyway, I digress. Those are a couple of options that go with this cauldron mod. Besides the cauldron cooking mod, which we have here, as you can see, this also shows that the food is still fresh, so it doesn't go bad if it's in the cauldron. I also had a couple of other food related mods that go well with medieval style gameplay. The first one is, I think, by Annie, and it is to bake fresh bread. So basically you just click on your fridge, it'll say bake bread, and you can do 4 different kinds here. You can make sourdough, challah, baguette, or rye. I think I'll have her make some rye bread. I don't think you need a special kind of stove to do this, but as you can see, like, she needs the dough. There's like a whole animation for it. And this is actually another custom like medieval stove that I have in my game for my medieval save files. It is a very big object, but this functions as a stove. And since you can't use a cauldron for anything besides the specific custom recipes that are attached to it, it's cool to have like a separate stove, like a brick oven or something like that, that's kind of like embedded into the Sims like house it kind of looks, you know what I mean? And it has that realistic look to it. And when she's done, she will pull it out of the oven like this. If you do hear thunder, I apologize. I'm filming this in between 2 different days and it's starting to rain where I am. But yeah, this is what it looks like. I believe I do also have a plate default replacement for medieval gameplay, so I will provide a link for that default replacement as well because it does have a more rustic look to it. But this is the bread, and I think it looks really cool. You can see it is steaming, but it's just like a giant loaf of rye bread. And if you have your sim, you can kick it up a notch if they have good cooking skill. But she can grab a plate, which means she's going to take just a slice of bread from the plate. So this is a big serving, and you can see she takes like a nice loaf. It's a nice slice. And she doesn't have anywhere to sit, so I guess she's going over here to eat it. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And yeah, she'll pick it up and she'll eat the bread. And it does fulfill their hunger, which is really nice. This next mod involves this cow store object. So I think you do need this for it to function, if I'm not mistaken, because you need to be able to have milk. But essentially, look at them shaking the cowbell. What the mod does is if you click on the milk bottle, you can actually pasteurize it to make it safer, which makes sense because typically when you are a farmer and you get milk from a cow, it's not safe to drink it raw. You know, I hope you know, I'm sure most people know that you shouldn't drink raw milk. So to add that realistic part to gameplay, they would pasteurize it. So they do have to basically it just like puts it into a different form in their like inventory, but now it's pasteurized and it has like a nice quality and she can drink it. So if you go to the sim and she'll drink the milk, and there you go. And it'll say here, got milk, but I'm pretty sure that's just already in the game from that. But it does add like that element of making it safer to drink, which I think is cool. I also wanted to show just a couple of objects from a super huge set that's on Mod The Sims. This is like the bulk of what I use for my medieval objects during my save file. So I'll see if I can find some stuff to showcase. There's basically a huge conversion someone did from The Sims Medieval to The Sims 3. And I'm so grateful because you know, it's hard sometimes to find certain types of styles for The Sims 3, but this was a really big, I think this was downloaded like a long time ago up to Mod The Sims, but there's quite a few objects here for different styles. So you have like these like stone type of sofas, I'm not mistaken, these should be a part of this set. There's also the love seat, like the Jacobean style. So if you remember, if you've seen like The Sims Medieval, you may have seen some of these style like objects. Like look how cute this is. We have these type of couches here, like a cute little love seat you could put in the corner. I also think it comes with some custom rugs as well, which is really nice. I don't really have enough space to show them off. I have one here I could show. Like it has dragons and stuff, different kind of like mystical creatures. I don't know if that's a dragon per se, but it definitely is like mystical creatures that you would have in like medieval folklore and stuff like that, which is really cool. So there's like a lot of different like rugs and stuff that come with it. There's even a couple of medieval toys that come with the set. So there's a pirate teddy bear, there's a knight teddy bear, and then there's a peasant teddy bear, which is like how cute these all are. They're so cute. I think that's really adorable. Then there's also different music boxes. So we have like a dragon one. I'm pretty sure the music will be the same, but if you like look at it, you can see that there's like different kinds here. So there's like knight one, a fairy music box, which is that one over there. There's a prince and princesses, so it'll just have different like spinning objects inside of the music box, which is really, really cute. And then lastly, I see there's also a dollhouse, which this is a really big object, mind you, so you need a lot of space for this. This is a bit more for like a sim with more money, or that's a part of like an actual royal family maybe, and this would be like a kid having a lot of nice toys, and maybe they would have like a replica of their castle that they live in or something like that. But it's a really cool object. And then just to show a couple of objects for outside, we have a couple of things here. So this is also a conversion from The Sims Medieval, and these are just fire pits. So they work as a standard fire pit, but there's different versions. You have a version that's like a blacksmith sort of station, and then you have one that's a bit more realistic, which is like a really tiny fire pit with just some stone and wood, which is nice. Last for like these outdoor objects is just a couple of hot tub swatches. They're by Miss Poodle and they're super cool. So this one kind of looks like a giant pot, which is really funny. The animations for them to get into the hot tub may vary. It might look a bit weird with their arms, but once they get into the hot tub, it should be fine. This one's a bit more like really extravagant, but it's really cool if you wanted to use this for a commercial lot, as if they're doing like, you know, like when they have like the baths and stuff like that, like the local bathhouses and people use them. It kind of looks like that, so I feel like that works really well with that storyline. And then this is like definitely for more like the town square for like the villagers who go to like the local, I guess, bathhouse. That's like, obviously it's not extravagant or anything, but it'll do, like they don't care because it's something nice for them to kind of relax in. I've definitely used this in my medieval save file before, but yeah, I figured I would show this because there's a lot of different swatches here, and I definitely think that it goes well with the medieval theme. Next here we have, these are just some regular like objects you would use in everyday gameplay for needs, but I wanted to show them because they are specifically for medieval gameplay, and they're just toilets. So we have quite a few medieval toilets here. This one is a bucket, okay? Then we have another one that has like a plank on top of it, and then we have another one here which is kind of like a sturdy one with a bucket. And there is one more here, and it is this one right here. This one has a bit more stone in it. It's kind of like they're using it and then it would go into the ground, which is kind of funny. You could definitely make like a sort of porta potty outside sort of thing if you wanted to, and this could be for like more commercial lots. This, I believe a couple of these were converted by Suit Flower if I'm not mistaken, but I will provide a link to the post regardless so you can check out these. The next thing that I'll be showcasing is a very, very small little default replacement. It's just for the musical notes when your Sims are playing an instrument. Now this here is a lute that I have downloaded, but basically it just replaces the musical notes themselves. It's just a cosmetic thing to look like the ones from The Sims Medieval. So it has a bit of like a medieval look, you know what I mean? If you take a look at the music notes as they fly out, they have a bit of like a different curvature to them. It just is a cosmetic thing, but it's something small and it's pretty cute, so I figured I would showcase that as well if you wanted to download it. Now, for this next portion, I wanted to showcase a couple of fun objects that your Sims can use that are medieval style. So this one is called the Total War Tactical Table. That was a bit of a tongue twister for me, but yeah, this is basically a Sims medieval conversion, I believe, of like the war strategy table that your Sims would use, and instead it is taking one of these store objects from the casino set. So if you do engage in warfare, you can do practice battle no simoleons. So I don't really know with this part if it gives you the gambling skill without having to bet any money, but basically she's practicing like playing cards and stuff. Now as you can see, the animation that is animated is still there because it's meant to be the robot and they removed it, so you would just kind of have to like ignore that that's happening there because they can't really remove that because it's attached to the animation. But as you can see, she is practicing and she can do the different things here, but it's kind of in different ways. But you can see it actually is helping her gambling skill because there is a gambling skill attached to those objects. I would definitely check with the post. I'm not sure if you actually are required to have the store objects for this to work or not. So I would definitely check, because since it is attached to the skill, I would assume it might be. Then the same creator actually made a couple of other conversions for pool tables. Now I have a couple of pool tables to show off. There's actually a couple of options. So we have here, they're both conversions from The Sims Medieval, which is super cool. The first one is a wooden version of it, and if you look at it here, we have this one. I'll have her come here just so she can play pool, just so we can see what it looks like. It's pretty much the same exact thing. It is an interesting shape, so I wonder how that will work when it comes to like going to the edges here. It might look a bit weird, but you know, if you want medieval gameplay, sometimes it's the price you gotta pay. You know, you have to yeah, so it does have those sort of weird looks, as you can see here. So that is one thing to note with this one. As I was showing this off, the freaking Into the Future thing popped up, so sorry about that. But while we're here, I wanted to show off the other ones that I have. So there is a stone version. Again, it would look the same. As you can see, it has the same shape here. So that's one downfall to this. But you do have another option here. And this is also by the same creator, actually, which is so funny. I didn't realize it was the same person, but they made a different version of the pool table from the University Life expansion. And this one works exactly like the regular pool table, but it has more of like a medieval art style on it, and like a map, and it has like more of like a medieval texture look to it, I guess. It kind of just goes better with medieval gameplay. It looks like it would fit in with the world. I actually use it in my medieval save file. But yeah, I figured I would show these because it's always nice to have objects that are for fun that also meld in with the medieval world that you want to immerse yourself into when you're doing a save file. Next, we have a couple of other objects that are actually by the same creator. I don't know if I can pronounce her name properly. I think it's Danjaley. I'm sorry if I said it incorrectly, but they basically took a couple of objects from, I think it's University Life mostly, and they turned them into medieval style. So if you're not familiar with this object, this is the operating table. This is basically the brain enhancing machine, and they turned it into like a medieval operating table, which is kind of like, it's kind of creepy, but it's cool. So there's two different versions here, and you have a bigger one that has some other stuff, and then you have this version, which is more of like stone and doesn't have any of the little padding here, and it has a couple of objects that look like they're meant for like operations and stuff, like scary sorts of weaponry they would use. But yeah, I figured that would be cool to show that, as well as one other thing from University Life. There's two different versions here. This is the science station. Now, of course, like I had mentioned with the other things, it does stays the same animation, because I don't think there would be a way to do that. You have to completely make a brand new animation, and it's kind of tied to this object. So this is the science station, and you have two different versions here. You have this one, which is a bit more, I would say, nicer, maybe for someone who's a bit more money. And then this one is a bit more, I guess, of like a downgrade, I suppose, for someone who has like less fortune or something. I don't really know. But yeah, you have two different swatches, and you know, it functions exactly the same, so they will gain science skill while they are interacting with this object. Now this object here, I believe this is by Miss Poodle. This here isn't a default replacement, it's actually a separate object. Now it's not possible for me to show because I only have one sim here and you need two. But she is happy to see this here. But basically, this is the exact same object from University Life with the ping pong table where they can play table tennis or juice pong. Now, the next thing I wanted to show off is, I think their name is, it's like JuJ45. They are a really awesome Sims 3 custom content creator. They make a lot of clothing stuff. Definitely check out their Tumblr page. I'll provide a link though to like this post, and you can check out their page that way, because they just make a lot of stuff, and they've made objects as well, which I wasn't really aware of until like last year, but they just make so many cool sets. And now these of course are medieval things. This, if you can guess what this is supposed to be a printing press, but it acts as a computer. So you have to put like the little keyboard thing here, and they'll use it. Now let me just add a chair. I can add I don't know, any kind of chair here, just snap it to this, and let's just show her using it. So to use it, this is just a desk, so you have to click on the actual little keyboard object here, and it will function like a regular computer. Now, I'll just have her, I don't know, we'll have her browse the web. Of course, in medieval times, there was no web to browse, but you know, this is The Sims. It's their own little pocket universe of medieval, if you want it to be. So, as you can see, it does do some little weird animations there because it is functioning as a regular computer, but once they're done with the part with the mouse, you see here they just use the regular typing and stuff like that. One object I really love is by also Murphield. I mentioned them before. They did some of the conversions for the other cauldron. This is a swan rowboat, so of course you need the expansion Island Paradise for this to work, because that's how you get boats in the game. But look at the detail on this. It looks really like, you know, like rustic, and it's a bit worn out from, you know, like the salt air, and it's, you know, it's a bit worn out, but in like a really awesome way. It was designed so nicely. This is, of course, it will function like a regular rowboat. If you have the expansion and you've used it before, you know that typically I think 2 Sims can fit on the rowboats, if I'm not mistaken. It can be 4 though. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. It could be up to 4, but you can go fishing out in the water on these boats. And that will be perfect for your Sims to go out and have a day of fishing to catch a lot of, you know, a lot of fish to make some nice fish stew. The next thing that I wanted to show is, I forget the creator's name, but I will provide a link for this. It is called, I think it's Annie. It could be Annie's mod. I think it's them. If I'm not correct, I'm sorry. This rock is a very key component to the mod because this will be the spawner for the trees to pop up all around that area. I believe it spawns about 5 trees, if I'm not mistaken, depending how much space there is. I believe it will spawn like these birch trees that your sim will use. I will plop one here just to see if I can use it to showcase what happens, but the gist of it is that this will spawn, so I will add this here just in case, but this spawns trees in the area that is near the stone, and you can plop these around an entire lot. If you just wanted to make an entire little forest and plop these stones all over an empty lot, you could do that, and then it takes some time for them to spawn back once they cut down the tree, but that's how it works. And with that, there is some actual like element to realistic gameplay with this. So basically, she can do it. So I'm going to have her stop using the computer. As you can see here, this is a regular fireplace. It says here, you need firewood to set a fire. Now, if you really want that realistic element to medieval gameplay, which I would assume many would if they're doing a medieval save file, you would need wood logs to add to create a fire. So in order to do that, you will come here and she will cut down the tree. Now I believe it takes the animation from Ambitions with the firefighter career, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, she's on her way. So let's watch and see what happens while she's doing this. Yes, okay, I'm going to zoom out because it's a bit loud. I will fast forward this. There we go. And you actually have to have your sim collect the wood pieces. So she will collect them all, pick up, pick up. As you can see, typically they will get 5 pieces of firewood, and I think you use 1 firewood piece per like fire burn that you do. So if you want to put out a fire and create a new one, it will use another log that's in your inventory. And if you check your inventory, the logs are here. So basically now she can go light a fire. As you can see, the option is available now. I think it's so cool. Isn't that so freaking cute? I think it's such a really nice element to realistic gameplay as well, even if you don't want it for medieval gameplay. I just think this is a really cool realistic mod regardless. She loves this. But yeah, even if it's not for medieval save, I feel like this works really well just for realistic gameplay. If you have a sim living out in the forest, if you're doing maybe like rags to riches, I feel like that's kind of cool to add that to it. Like, I don't know, it's just a really cool mod. I really like it. As you can see, the mod is working because she cut down the other tree, but we have another tree in its place, so it spawned this tree as well. Now, I don't think there's any other trees, unfortunately, so this is the only kind of tree that will spawn with the tree spawner. But if that's not an issue for you, then there you go. That's the mod. Another tiny thing that I wanted to showcase is this is a sleeping bag, but it's like a medieval looking sleeping bag. It's a really small thing, but as you can see, it kind of has a completely different mesh to it. It kind of looks like, let's just see what it looks like while she's getting ready. There you go. And look at how cute that is, all the stuff on the side. Oh, She's asleep. Let me turn the light back on. I didn't anticipate that. But as you can see, look at this. It's so cool. Like, look at the detail. It looks really awesome. You have kind of like, I guess the scraps on the bottom of like the fabric, or maybe it's fur. And you can tell it's kind of like hand sewn, handmade. I think that's just really cool for realistic gameplay. If you want to have a sim start from scratch, even do like a rags to riches medieval style, that'd be kind of fun. Ooh, that'd be kind of fun to do as well. I never thought about something like that, but this would definitely help add to that storyline. Lastly, what I'm going to show is a mod that's technically gameplay. It is for rabbit hole careers, but I still feel like rabbit hole jobs are an integral part of Sims 3 gameplay, and it still does add to storytelling. And I feel like that kind of is important when you are doing medieval gameplay. You want it to kind of match what your sim is doing, and you know, you can customize their work outfits and stuff with cheats and things like that. So I wanted to showcase a couple of the ones in the menus here. So I personally have a couple that go with like the regular like rabbit hole buildings and base game. So as you can see here, there are quite a couple. Like all 4 of these are custom rabbit hole careers, and they're really good for like everyday like villager citizen careers, you know what I mean, for like an everyday sim that's not royalty. So we have the butcher career. Next there is a hunting career, which I think is really cool. Then we have the foraging career. Now this job I have my sim using in my medieval mini series, and they have to wake up so early for this job. She sometimes misses part of her shift because of it, but not to worry, you know, that happens. And then there's also the peasant career. I don't know too much detail about a couple like this one, and that's pretty much it because this one I just added. So definitely check out the post for these. There's going to be links for all of them. These are all in separate posts, so if you want all 4 of these, you will have to look at every single link to download them separately. Then for the other careers that I have that are custom, I think there's either 1 or 2 here. This is with the City Hall rabbit hole. Okay, I think I have 2. Yes, I have 2. Okay, so I have here the monarchy career, which is what it says. Your sim would be a part of the monarchy. So that's that. So these are more for a lot higher up positions in everyday life for your sims. And then we have the Hall of Edicts career, which is kind of like a politician. It's kind of like a medieval version of the politics career, essentially. Like, it's just like you're a politician but in medieval times. As someone who would be, you know, have a bit of power, but they're not above the monarchy. It's pretty much something like that, you know, which I think is cool to have as well for storylines if you wanted to have a sim do that. Now, just to note, for these type of careers, I believe you do need the NROS careers mod. Please follow the instructions for all of these. I can only do so much to like help anyone. It's definitely a better option for you to just read through the post to get all the details as opposed to asking me, because since I'm not the creator of these mods, the creators will have all the information most likely written for you. So it's, you know, best to check that what they say first before, you know, asking me, since I don't necessarily know all the information all the time, but I try my best to help you out if I can. I actually have one more mod I wanted to show. It's a very small mod, I believe, but it's really good for medieval gameplay, especially if you want your sim to like live off of the land. And if you're in a world like Robinstein, this has no actual roads, there's only trails here, so sims have to ride by horse. It takes a while to get places if you don't like teleport them, so this is kind of good to use like their surrounding area. This is called the One with Nature mod, and it allows your sims to bathe in water, and it also I think allows them to like use, like if they have to go to the bathroom, they can like pee and things like that, or they can sleep there. They can like manage sleeping spots, they can set areas to sleeping spot and things like that. So it allows them to pretty much just like live off of the actual sim earth, like live off of the land and just like take care of their needs. This is kind of realistic, I guess, if you have sims kind of going off to travel during the day to get errands done. So yeah, they kind of go to, I guess, a little bit like past knee deep in the water. I mean, it does show that it's cold, which is kind of funny. It's like a cold shower. But as you can see, she was doing a sponge bath, which is actually an animation in the game already. So that's, I think, when sims are slobs. I think that's a slob trait animation. They can do a sponge bath in the sink. So it just took the animation and it used it for the ocean, which is really cool. And I figure we would do a proper send-off to end this video with her on the lovely swan boat. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this is helpful if you were looking for medieval mods or just some extra little like CC objects to add for medieval gameplay, I know that a lot of simmers really do love like medieval style, and they do love like The Sims Medieval. I in particular also wish we would get a Sims Medieval 2 or something like a spin-off that's kind of like an updated version. I would love that so much. But you know, you can only hope for so much. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, I will provide links in the description of this video for everything I showcased. If you do have any questions, you know, let me know in the comments. I'll try to help if I can. But definitely, if you have any questions about mods that I showcase, check the post first in the descriptions where the creator added everything that's necessary to know first, just in case that answers a question, because that might be more helpful. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a good one. Take care, and bye!